I think Cortez is being very disrespectful to somebody that's been there a long time. I deal with Nancy Pelosi a lot, and we go back and forth, and it's fine. But I think that a group of people is being very disrespectful to her.
Well, who saw that coming? President Trump defending Speaker Pelosi amid her feud with Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. This after the Democratic upstart suggested that the Speaker's criticisms of her were rooted in race. A number of Democratic lawmakers now rushing to Pelosi's side. Missouri's William Lacey Clay, who sits on both the Congressional Black and Progressive caucuses, letting loose on Pelosi's critics, saying, quote, "How dare they tried to play the race card at this point. It shows the weakness of their argument. It's damaging to this party and the internal workings of the Democratic Party." And this from presidential candidate Kamala Harris.
That's not my experience with Nancy Pelosi. And I've known her and worked with her for years. I've known her to be very respectful of women of color and very supportive of them.
Meantime, Ocasio-Cortez upping the ante, saying Pelosi's remarks could put her and the fellow members of her so-called squad in danger.
It's singling out 4 individuals. And knowing the media environment that we're operating in, knowing the amount of death threats that we get, knowing the amount of concentration of attention, I think it's just worth asking why.
So when her staff member, I'm sorry, Katie, when her staff member tweeted out that tweet that's now since been deleted, and Pelosi talked about it, calling Blue Dog and moderate members and new members of the Democratic Party, calling them segregationists. She doesn't think that that puts them in the crosshairs somehow?
I'm sorry. I have to say, it takes a lot of chutzpah for Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez to complain about the concentration of media attention as she is doing an interview in the hallway to get more attention.
That's her whole thing, is getting attention. Yes. That's her entire thing.
And I would like to over here, and you're just laughing and nodding because
it really upsets me. I wrote a piece about it for Fox News up on the homepage right now. Drive that traffic. It's very frustrating. No one in their right mind would have used those kinds of terms, linking them, first of all, to our moderate Democrats or to Nancy Pelosi. She has elevated people of color into some of the most high-ranking positions, committee assignments, subcommittee chairs with Clyburn and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Ayanna Pressley, Rashida Tlaib, Ilhan Omar, all got the committee assignments that they wanted. And I think making that argument about the danger, it so distracts from the actual danger. Like when there was that poster of Ilhan Omar around the 9/11 bombing that went up in Virginia. Those are instances where you are concerned about people's health and safety.
Well, Anna, or a shooter at a congressional baseball game.
But Anna,
I mean, come on.
Isn't this just the dog eat dog, chickens coming home to roost on the identity politics play? Because Nancy Pelosi has been accusing just last week the president of having racist MAGA hats, and now all of a sudden she's being accused falsely of this race card, and now all of a sudden Democrats are outraged about that card being pulled.
Well, I think the infighting in the Democratic Party is only going to help the Republicans. I think that's the biggest takeaway from all this. But when I see AOC on our air and everybody's air, I would like to see the sound bites back to back and see how much time she's actually getting. Is she just trying to make headlines and make a name for herself and go on up the ladder? And is that what some of these other Democrats are doing as well, looking toward 2020 and trying to get their name up there when there's, what, 24 of them just trying to
I happen to, and Harris mentioned this earlier in the block when we were talking about what's going on in these migrant detention centers. I do not doubt her passion and conviction and belief in the causes that she champions for 1 second. I think that this is misplaced. I think that what's going on here is you also have 4 people who have never governed in the minority.
Yeah,
and
but
that
she came up with a 14-page Green New Deal, but we're not seeing the 14-page border crisis deal.
I'm just saying I don't.
An opportunity, Jessica.
That may be.
Since she's driving so much concentrated attention.
I'm just saying I don't want to make it out that she's only out there for attention.
And I said
that was my only point there.
Quick last word
if you look at who they are primarying, the Democratic Socialists or the Squad or whatever we're looking at, black and Hispanic members of Congress who they're targeting. So just take a rest, folks. It's Friday. Lighten up.